Hi, my name is Maria Hermosilla, and I'm the director of GovLab, which is a public innovation lab at the School of Government of Adolfo Ibáñez University in Chile. And we work to promote the use of data science to improve people's lives and to transform the public sector. So we've been working on algorithmic transparency in the public sector since 2019, and I wanted to share some of the insights that we've had with you. So the first is that we're interested in the transparency of automated decision-making systems, which include artificial intelligence, but are not just artificial intelligence. There are other systems that have more simple algorithms that we're interested in because they participate in decisions that affect people. And if they aren't designed or implemented properly, they could affect human rights. For example, our first research was using Chile's freedom of information law, access to information, and we asked questions about 7 systems implemented in the public sector, ranging from facial recognition in a subway system or in in um, in surveillance for safety, and also systems used in health, for example, to prioritize people in a waiting list. So what we did is we put in a request for information using a framework called significant transparency, meaningful transparency. So basically, this means that you don't want to make everything about a system transparent, but you want to make the things that are really important for people known. So what's important? What's the goal of the system? What's the data used? Which data is not used? What are the predictive criteria? This is a predictive model. What kind of techniques are used? Why are decisions made in a certain way? Is this system implemented with evaluation? Is there monitoring? Can people understand the results that the system has? So we created this questionnaire and we made that to different public agencies, and it was really hard to get answers. We got denials. We got offered different meetings instead of the replies that we wanted, and we ended up doing a case study of only one of these 7 systems, a case study on the Ministry of Education, because we weren't able to find information on time about the other systems. So one of the first things we've found is a barrier to the to access of information about these systems. And later, well, the system that we did analyze had most of the information available, but it wasn't available freely on the website of the system, which was a school allocation system. We had to find the information in documents that the ministry sent us. So there was a lot of processing of information involved to even be able to answer the questions that we needed. So our first research showed that it wasn't easy to find information about systems, but it was just 7 systems. So what did we do later? We signed an agreement with the Council of Transparency in Chile, which is the autonomous agency that has oversight over the compliance with the access to information law. We signed an agreement with them, and we're currently finalizing research that involved a study, a voluntary study of all the public agencies that are under this law, the transparency law. So we're talking over 850 different agencies. So the Council for Transparency sent out a request for all these agencies to tell us if they were using automated decision-making systems and what kind of systems they were using. Just basic information, goal of the system, does it use personal data, who operates it within the agency, really, really basic information. We got answers from about 1/3 of the agencies. This was a voluntary study. And then one of the interesting things about that is that they reported over 200, the 50 something agencies that said that they had systems reported over 200 systems. But once we started looking at the systems, really they weren't all of them automated decision-making systems. Some of them were just digital repositories. So one of the first things we found is that there's a challenge to what we call and what an agency can understand as an automated decision-making system. So when we talk about, for example, regulating, it's going to be really hard to understand what is the thing we want to regulate and what qualifies as that. And that was one of the first challenges we found. We ended up finding 93 systems implemented of these agencies that voluntarily reported this. And one of the interesting things was that 20% of those systems, only 20% had information about them on the institutional website of the public agency. So then we took a subsample of those systems, there are 12, and we're analyzing them according to one of the frameworks of transparency that we think is very applicable to the public sector, which is the Ada Lovelace framework. And we're going to have results out from that study in October 20th. So I look forward to sharing those with you. And I will share a third piece of research we've been doing around algorithms in the public sector, which is a repository of public algorithms that we're going to publish as GovLab also in late October, early November. So that repository is basically, we are looking, it's like an observatory. We're seeing which governmental agencies announce that they're using algorithms. That include artificial intelligence, as I said, but not just artificial intelligence. So we've identified 50 different systems, and currently we have 41 of them analyzed. So I'm going to comment a little bit about those results. Most of the algorithms we've found, these are algorithms that public agencies publicly announce. So we found out for the media, through their website, through social media. Most of them are in the health sector, and also agriculture and social services. One of the things we've found is that it's not easy to find publicly available information on these systems, especially when we try to find out who built the systems, how they were funded, and what was the funding. And also sometimes it's easy to find like an announcement of a system, but then if you want to see what happened later with the system, that's really hard. Of those 41 systems, we found 21 that were developed by public sector, 12 were developed by the private sector, and there's been 10 cases where we really weren't able to find any information on who made the algorithm. 17 of those systems say that they're artificial intelligence, and the main goal that they declare of all the whole systems is usually improving efficiency. So improving the efficiency of services, including giving better citizens to service to citizens, and also improving oversight of laws. So I think I'm running out of time. One of the things that we found is that it's not easy to find information. So first, as a summary, what are we really wanting to get information about? What is considered an automated decision-making system is the first kind of challenge. Second, what kind of information should we have about these systems? If we want citizens to be informed, we don't necessarily need technical information. We need information that is in clear language, that is understandable. And a third, that there is not a lot of this information available at all. As we've shown in our research, 20% of the systems that we identified have this information available on the website. So I think we're in a very initial stage. In Chile, though, one of the interesting things we found is that when there is public information available, you are able to find out about the system enough to have like a minimal standard of transparency. So you could posit that public agencies could be more transparent about their systems because thanks to other laws like the citizen engagement law and of course the freedom of information law, there is information available. When there is enough to be able to communicate. The thing is now that we have to really make this more widely known. Many of the systems that we found out in our research with the Council of Transparency, we weren't even aware these systems existed. So there's also a lot of opacity still around the use of these systems. And I would really like to see more algorithm registries be implemented around the world so that basically government was obliged to inform which systems they're using with a minimal amount of information and as in a proactive manner, not necessarily when people make requests. Thank you very much.